Go to the full screen. Go to the full screen. Delete it.
It is full screen.
Oh.
Jai Baba, my love and Jai Baba to all the Baba lovers in the United States and all over the world who know us.
Say who you are.
I'm Dr. Goher. I have known Baba since my childhood. I suppose I was 6 or 7 when Baba first came to Quetta with the Mandli, with Mehra, and his early women disciples. And I remember Baba serving food to us. We used to go to Baba with our plates, and Baba would serve food to all of us. Baba used to look very beautiful as always as he looked beautiful. And most of the time in those days he used to wear only the sadra and most of the time he had his hair open. Baba used to play with us games then, especially the game of the 5 fingers. You see, he would ask us to pick up the middle finger, and we'd never be able to do it. And several other games, and we used to enjoy those games playing with Baba. But he was so quick always, and we could never we'll catch up with him. My father, it was his hobby to play the magic tricks, and he used to entertain Baba, and Baba used to enjoy them. He was almost a professional in playing tricks, magical tricks. I don't know what you call that. In those days, Baba was known as the Sadguru. Sadguru. And we were taught by our parents that we used to say our prayers to Baba, although they were Zoroastrian prayers, but we always remembered Baba. Then I remember then I used to come to Ahmednagar very often because it was my mother's sister's house here, and we used to spend our holidays here because Quetta was very cold in the winter and we used to get 3 months holidays. So during those holidays we used to come to Ahmednagar. Then I used to get lots of opportunity to meet Baba. Whenever the Gulma or Sarosh or Adi or somebody went to see Baba, meet Baba at Arangao, somehow they used to take me also. But in those days, Sarosh's father was very much against Baba, and it was a joint family. So we were not supposed to mention Baba's name in the house. So whenever we went to Arangao, to meet Meherabad, that is to meet Baba, we were told by my aunts and others that we must not mention Baba's name to that old man, otherwise he would just throw us out of the house. So as children, of course, we had to be very careful and very alert. But somehow, you see, the old man would catch hold of the children only and say, "Yes, I know you visited Baba today." And sometime one of the children would sort of blurt it out. Then then naturally when I was 14, that was in 1930 or 31, I don't remember, Baba came to Quetta. At that time, Quetta used to get several earthquakes and tremors. And when Baba came with Chanji and Afsari and 2 other men. And that was the first time he came to make arrangements to go to Iran. And then he came to make arrangements in Karachi for his passport, etc. That was to make his first visit to England. Can I go in the phone? Baba had come to Quetta and stayed there for almost a month there in the year 1930 or 31. And I was about 14 then, and my other sister Katie must be about 10. And Baba was very fond of us, and he used to play several games, especially the game of carom. It's played on a board with and once Baba took us to a picture also, but in the middle of the picture he suddenly left, and we also had to follow him. Baba was in a tonga with the mandlis like Chanji, and there was another boy, Kalingar or somebody, and we were on a bicycle. Out of all the children, Baba was fond of Katie and myself. At that time, Baba asked me what I was going to be, what I was studying. I was at that time in junior Cambridge. So Baba told me, you become a doctor. Well, that remained in my memory. After that, for several years, we did not meet Baba because Baba had made so many trips to the West. And we did not also get the opportunity of coming to Ahmednagar. But at that time when Baba had come, my father's business was very prosperous. He had a very large business of a confectioner's, toys, jewelry, bar and billiard, and everything. It was a huge concern. And it was in those days, Quetta was on the frontier, northwest frontier. It was a very important military station. There was a very big British army there. And so naturally the business was, very good. But Baba told my father and my parents that he must sell off the business. He must continue. So Baba told my father that he must sell off the business and take away the whole family and leave Quetta altogether. By that year, my father was already established in that city since 20 years. My father would have done it, but I think my mother was more materialistic. So she and other friends, they could not believe that they should sell off the business and leave with the whole family. And in those days, there were so many people who did not believe or follow Baba, especially the Zoroastrian community. And my father did not sell the business, but he sent us off. Baba did not give any reason why he wanted him to leave Quetta altogether. The children. But my parents, because of the several tremors, continuous tremors we used to get in Quetta, the schools were closed. So my parents sent the older children to Ahmednagar to live with my aunt and continue with our studies here. After 2 years, my father did not sell off the business, and he was continuing with the business. And what happened actually, the business did not run so well as it did. After Baba told him to sell off the business. So one night my mother had a dream And in the dream she saw an old man with a grey beard, very saintly person. He comes and tells her, in a white robe, and he comes and tells her that why don't you leave Quetta? Why don't you go away from here? I've been waiting for you to leave Quetta because I want to destroy Quetta. The next morning, my mother got very scared from this dream, and she knew it was Baba who was telling her. So she told my father immediately. She said, my mother told my father that we must now sell off the business and leave Quetta, because I know that it was Baba who has come and warned us again. In his compassionate way, it is he who has warned us, that, and he's so compassionate that he hasn't done what he wanted to do with Quetta. He's been waiting for us to leave. So then they started, you see, they took it very seriously, and then they started in earnest to sell the business. But there was no buyer then. At the time when, if they had listened to Baba and done it, they would have almost got a million, 1 lakh, full, very good price with profit. But now he had to sell it off at such a great loss that, he had to collect, he couldn't even collect his debts. And that's how, and gradually, whatever had happened, even at loss, they sold off the business, they sold off the house and everything, and they, my parents and my younger brothers and sisters, they left the place and came and settled down in Ahmednagar. In Ahmednagar, then Sarosh and my other uncle, they helped my father to get to open another bakery, a confectioner's shop, where Sarosh Cinema is at present. They came to settle down in Ahmednagar in the year 1932. At that time, we were all schooling. In 1934, we heard that there was a terrific earthquake, and 50,000 people died in one night in that earthquake in Quetta. The whole city was demolished. Then my parents realized what Baba meant when he said that he wanted them to leave. And afterwards they really were repentant, grateful to beloved Baba for saving their lives and saving the lives of their children. And they've ever remained grateful to Baba. After that we were, when we came, Quetta was all together, forgotten. We settled down in Ahmednagar. And during our school days also, we used to meet Baba frequently. Whenever he happened to be in Ahmednagar or he would be in Meherabad, then we would sneak in to visit him. Sometimes Baba used to come and visit at our house. There was a small house in which later, in the year 45, Baba stayed there with Mehra, Mani, Margaret, for about At that time, I was studying in college. From 1937, Baba took almost full charge of me, seeing responsibility for my education. And you see, Baba first, I had nowhere to live in Bombay. And I had nowhere to live. So Baba, through Paramroj Dada Chanji, Chanji, Baba arranged that I should stay with Arnavaz, that is Arnavaz family. I didn't know any one of them. But Baba made it possible for me to stay there and continue with my education in Bombay. Then in 1938, I joined the medical college to become a doctor. Baba used to pay my college fees. Because, you see, my parents couldn't afford. My parents just refused that I should continue with my education because they couldn't afford to pay my fees. But Baba said that he would do it. and he paid my college fees. And then in 1938, provided for my education. In 1938, then Katie, my younger sister, came to live with the women Mandli in Meherabad ashram. Yes. And I was in Bombay. During all the time I was in Bombay finishing my medical education. Baba had given me very strict orders. I had to obey all of Baba's orders, that I must not touch men. I had to be very pure sexually, and all such strict orders. And whatever orders were given, all the circulars, the fasts, whatever was to be done, I used to get those, and I had to obey those orders. And I observed those orders. And I was given, Baba had told me to write to him, I don't remember now, was it once a week or once a month? But every time, Baba was so compassionate. Every time my letter was answered, Baba would answer my letters. Through someone, you see, someone like Vishnu or Mani or Kitty, or Katie, they would write the letters and Baba would sign those letters. And sometimes when Baba came to Bombay at Chanji's place, then we would have the opportunity to have his darshan. And from that time, during my holidays in the college, Baba had given me permission that I could be with him wherever he was. Like sometimes he was on a blue bus tour in Bangalore, Jabalpur. Yes, in Bangalore, when I went from here on my holiday to be with Baba and the women Mandli. Baba, you see, my mother wanted me to get married then. And so Baba, as soon as I came to Bangalore, Baba knew this. So Baba said, just forget it. It's all like shit. You have not to marry. And I said, yes, Baba. And since then, I've never thought of marriage.
Do you tell them how you got your sign?
Yes, that was in Panchgani. I was living with Arnavaz and Arnavaz Dada Chanji family. It was in 1938, I think, 37 or 38. And I had a very bad cold and cough. But they were going to see Baba at Panchgani, and I also accompanied them. We reached.
It was your holiday, wasn't it?
Yes, it was my holiday, so I also accompanied them. And we reached there quite late in the night. And Baba, as soon as we arrive, it's usually Baba inquires after our health, and I said, Baba, I have a very bad cough and cold. So Baba was a little displeased that I should come so ill there and not have taken treatment in Bombay. So Baba said that I must go back immediately. I was very sad to leave Baba, but then I had to obey his orders. And I was sent back to Bombay to get my tonsils removed. And that was done. But since then, this is the sign that Baba has given me, meaning tonsils, you see. And up till now, this is the sign. You see, Baba wanted me, this was the sign for me.
And anyone named Goher also, that was the sign.
Oh, anyone else named by, having the same name as me, they would have the same sign. So this was my sign. Then yes, and then you see, after my graduation in 1944, then in 1944, then Baba called me. Baba was then staying at here, Meherazad. And after qualifying, Adi brought Baba sent for me, and Adi brought me here. And Baba was here in Aloba's room then. There was no furniture. Baba was just sitting on a small mat, carpet.
It was a spare room.
It was an empty room, and I don't think there were many mandli here. I don't remember that because we just came this way and entered into the room. And Adi used to bring me here because Baba would send messages through Adi for me. And Baba then said that now you are qualified, you must come and live with me. I said, yes, Baba. I was very happy. But then again my mother came in my way, and but she said, then why should you leave permanently? Because after my graduation in 1944, I came to stay at Ahmednagar at my parents' house. At that time, Baba had come to Meherazad in 1944. And he sent word through Adi that I should. So I sent word to Baba that I had graduated. Now what should I do? So Baba sent word through Adi that I should come and see him. And naturally Adi brought me to Meherazad, and I met Baba in Aloba's room, which was empty then. There was no furniture, and Baba was sitting on a small carpet. He looked.
It was a
So beautiful. And I went in, and Baba embraced me and made me sit down. And then he said, well, now you are a doctor. I have so much work with you, so you must leave everything and come and stay with me permanently. I said, Baba, I'm most happy to do it if you will have me. So I went back home and told my parents that I was going to leave them and go and stay with Baba. Well, my mother came in my way again, and she started crying and wailing and fighting and quarreling, and we had all night. She said, she sort of, but she said, why do you have to leave permanently? You must at least come and see me sometimes. But I said, well, I can never promise. I may not see you at all. So my aunt, you see, well, I said, no, whatever happens. I wrote to Baba then that my mother is making such a fuss over all this. Then Baba sent for me again, and I said, yes, Baba, I want to come and be with you. So Baba said, I'll call you up when the right time is right. So after a few days, then Baba called me in Bombay. He was going to Raipur then, and he was there at Kaka Baria's house. So I met Baba there at Kaka Baria's house, and from there we proceeded to go to Raipur. At that time, Mehra, Mani, Nehru and myself. There were only 4 women, and the others were all men mandli.
The others were, the ladies were in Meherabad.
Kitla mahina Raipur. After 2 or 3 months, then Baba, you see, I had just qualified from the college, and I hadn't taken any hospital experience. So after 2 or 3 months, Baba said that I must go back to Bombay and work in hospitals to get some more experience as a medical doctor. So after 2 or 3 months in Raipur, I was sent back to Bombay, and Rano came instead. I worked in Bombay for 2 or 3 years. I used to write continuously to Baba that I don't want to work now, I want to come and be with you. But Baba said, no, you must work. And in 1947, in June, Baba said that I must leave everything now and come to live permanently with Baba. So that I went to Satara then, in June 1947. At that time, Baba told me to look after Norina, who had just arrived from America. And Norina and Elizabeth were given a separate bungalow to stay, and I had to look after Norina. At the same time, Baba told me to go and work in a missionary hospital. I used to go there and work, and in the evenings we would go to Baba's bungalow where the women mandali stayed with Baba. After that we came to stay at Meherazad. In Meherazad, Norina, Elizabeth, Rano, Kitty were all here. And Mehra, Mani, Meru and myself. And then Baba, you see, did not give me so much of medical. I think just to break my ego that I'm not a great doctor. First thing that Baba did for me was that I should look after poultry. I had never handled a single hen in my life. I did not know anything about it. So I had to handle a poultry farm. It was a small farm. Somehow Baba built a pen. Baba built there was a chicken pen and a duck pond and about a dozen hens and half a dozen of ducks. And I had to take care of these. And I used to do it. I had to get a book and study everything about the chickens. Yes, and then I had to get their food, you see the food supply like
The chicken feed
and everything. And in Baba was very particular, you see, everything that was being sent for, we had to take Baba's permission, and then see, Baba would tell Kaka every detail, every purchase, I mean, every household item. And so the chicken feed was finished suddenly, and Baba was in Kaka's room at that time, seeing the mandli or any outsider.
There were some visitors from outside.
And there was a visitor, Murthy, from... shall I continue? There was... Baba was sitting in Kaka's room on the mandli side, and he was talking to Murthy from Kharagpur. He is a great lover of Baba, and Baba was telling him something very, on the spiritual, explaining to him something very important on spiritual subject, about the 6th and the 7th planes. But I was very quite new in those days and didn't know anything, and I didn't even hear what Baba was saying. So I suddenly entered into the, you see, go and stand in the doorway, and Baba was sitting on Kaka's bed, squatting and talking cross-legged, and talking to Murthy. And Baba was very deeply engrossed in explaining to him about the 6th and the 7th plane. And suddenly I entered in the doorway, and that itself caused a disturbance to Baba. So naturally Baba said, "What is it?" So I said, "Baba, the chicken feed is finished." One second. Baba was serious, and then suddenly he started laughing. Baba laughs with his mouth shut inwardly. And he was laughing. And Baba said that I was on the 7th plane, talking about the 7th plane, and here she comes and brings me
down to earth.
Brings me down to earth and tells me about the chicken feed. Now, what sort of a person is she? So Baba was quite amused. So when he came inside to Mehra and Mani, so he told them this incident. And since then, Mehra and Mani always remind me about this and tease me.
Did Baba have an animal ashram at one time, just for animals?
That was, yes, about that Mehra, yes, that was in Meherazad. That time about that Mehra and Mehra will be able to tell you. This chicken poultry and all, I mean, Baba gave it away when we started a new life.
Did you ever feel that you were Baba's doctor, since you were always with him constantly?
No. How could you ever feel that you were a doctor? How could you ever feel that you were a doctor to Baba? Never. At that time, I was not even was not doing any doctoring because Baba made me look after the poultry, the general household. In those days, there were no men gardeners, and only women gardeners were there. And whatever bazaar or anything that Kaka brought, you see, Kaka would be always ringing the bell. There used to be a bell at the gate, and when the bell rang, I had to go and answer it and bring in all the bazaar, whatever message or anything that was to be told to Baba or to the women inside, I had to do that. Then during 47 and 40, yes. Then once you see, we used to live. In 48, I think, just I was ill for a couple of days. I had very high temperature and I was in bed. That was I had a temperature of about 103, 104. And I was lying down, and suddenly in the afternoon at about 3 or 4 o'clock, Baba was told that I had very high fever. So suddenly I see Baba and Mehra come to me near my bed, and Baba held a cup of medicine for me. And I was so deeply touched that God should come to me with a cup of medicine. And then Mehra handed it over to me, and I took that.
From that time, the fever got down.
And somehow from that time the fever got down and I was all right. Then during New Life, you see, then Baba told us that Baba was having New Life discussions in Meherabad, and we had to go every day. The women, with the men mandli, he used to do it down the hill, and with the women mandli, he used to do up the hill. And after several meetings, Baba then said that he would take only 4 women disciples with him in the New Life. Well, I was just a newcomer, so I said to myself, you see, I'll never be taken because there are so many of the other women disciples. Mehra and Mani, of course, are definite, but we didn't know who the other 2 were. But I felt that those who have lived with him since childhood, they would be the ones, and I used to feel very sad. In the evenings, Baba would come back to Meherazad. So one evening, Baba and Mehra were standing. In one evening, I was watering in that corner over there. You see a flower bed. I was watering, and I was very sad and depressed. I was doing it very slowly, sort of as if I had no mind in it. Suddenly I hear a clap, and that means that Baba is calling. So I turned round and saw Baba and Mehra standing on the veranda of the big house. And when Baba claps, that means you must go to him. So I went over, and Baba told Mehra that this woman is mad. And Baba said, "You're really mad. What are you thinking of? I know." So I said, "Well, Baba, I know that you won't take me with you in the New Life, and I just didn't know what I would do after you left. I know that the life would end for me." So Baba again turned to Mehra and said, "She's a fool. Tell her that." Then Baba said, "Yes, you're going to accompany me." And of course, that was the happiest moment of my life. I was very happy about it. Yes. What else now? Of course, Baba never complained about his anything. I mean, he suffered always in silence, and we felt somehow that Baba was going through some sort of pain or discomfort, and I felt that sometimes some sort of a treatment should be given, and so so I used to try my best, but then somehow in front of Baba we always felt very helpless. I felt that no doctor could ever do or give any treatment to Baba. I mean, seeing that suffering and discomfort that Baba had, I mean, I used to stand with my hands folded and felt that I really could not help Baba. We could not do anything. It was Baba alone who could do something for himself. And actually it has been that feeling every time in every time that we felt that Baba was suffering or was bodily uncomfortable, and somehow we could not help him at all.
Okay. Well, brings you back, doesn't it? Um, so I thought that was a particularly sweet video. There aren't many of Goher, and there are some wonderful audio tapes of hers I recommend. It's so easy to find. You type YouTube, Dr. Goher, Meher Baba. Yeah, there are a few. So at this point, we're going to have Karen go back over that bio. Dr. Goher gave a pretty good bio herself, but I think, Karen, we don't see much of you. I wonder if you can adjust your screen so that we see more of your face. There you go. Okay. All right. And you are muted. So let's, yeah.
Betty,
Yes?
Betty,
Yes.
my power went out just as Dr. Goher was describing something in a dream where Mehra and Baba came to her.
I'm afraid I can't go back to that right now, but I can direct you to that video after.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
That was such a rare instance of, it's so natural and
Yeah.
it's just amazing.
That was Irwin.
I'm thinking it must have been the Luck brothers doing that, but I don't believe it was. Who
It was.
was it?
Yeah. Irwin
Was the
asking her question.
right, yeah.
So, okay, we'll have Karen give the bio. Let's see. And you are still muted, Karen.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
You can hear me.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm going to make this a little briefer because I think Dr. Goher has done a wonderful job. So I'll just mention a few things and then I'll go to 1952 because, or more of the new life, because I think that's pretty much where she finished off. And how happy I am to be able to do this on her birthday. And at the end, you all are more than welcome to make any comments, changes, or things that you feel were important. So I'm going to begin. Jai Baba. Okay. So I think she explained a number of things, but I think this is pretty neat. When Baba visited Goher's home when she was about 6 years old, she has a very hazy recollection of that visit. At one point, Baba asked her mother, "How many children do you have?" Her mother replied, "7, Baba." Baba said, "You only have 5. I have 2." And he was basically referring to Goher and Katie, who later became part women Mandali members. And as she said, Baba would always really give special attention when he came to Quetta in 1923, 24, and 31 to Goher and to Katie. Goher's first memory of Mera was of her and Mera's mother Daulat sewing shirts for the villagers in Ahmednagar. Goher and Katie's mother was a relative of Sarosh's father, the elder Kai Khusru. And so the family had a strong connection, and they stayed and would visit Ahmednagar from Quetta quite often. In fact, the family attended Rustam and Franey being Mera's sister's wedding. So they had a number of interactions with Baba there, and the parents really came to love him quite dearly. And so the family became one of Baba's. So they remember, Goher remembers meeting Mera and Mera's mother Daulat when they were in Ahmednagar sewing shirts for the villagers. Goher said Mera was so beautiful, and little Goher wanted to help. So Daulat gave the 9-year-old the buttons to sew by hand. So she had that opportunity. Goher received much of Baba's attention during his visits. And one day, Quetta was very cold in the wintertime, and Goher was sleeping in bed covered by a heavy blanket. One night, Baba entered her room and slowly pulled at the end of the blanket. Feeling the cold, Goher was roused from her sleep and was startled to find Baba standing before her. He indicated to her, "You feel cold now, but I have come on earth to give you the warmth of God's love. Once you completely possess that love, you will never feel the cold." She said Baba showed much love and interest in her, as I said, and also her sister Katie. Baba told her to become a doctor. Her mother was very upset by this because she saw that the women Mandali were pretty secluded. And she also felt the family had no money to send Goher to medical school. But Baba told her mother he would take responsibility for sending her to medical school. So from the beginning, he told Goher, "I want you to become a doctor because I have a lot of work for you to do." And then she explained all about the earthquakes in Quetta and how the family ended up moving to Ahmednagar. In 1938, she entered medical school, and Baba had his secretary Chanji make plans for Goher to live in Bombay at the home of the Dada Chanjis while she was at medical school. She was very shy when she knocked on their door, as she'd never met them before. Goher could not believe the welcome she received. They treated her with so much love. Arnavas was the eldest of the Dada Chanji children. Goher was 2 years older. Baba would visit their home with his mandali. Goher felt like she was being treated by them as one of the mandali, and from them, she said, she learned how to love him. After time there, she moved to a girls' hostel. But whenever there were holidays for medical school, Baba invited her and said she had freedom to just come and stay with them. So that's how she became one of the women on the blue bus tours. Whenever there were vacations, she would go and be with them. And one year she accompanied Arnavas to Panchgani, where Baba and the women were staying, and she was ill. So they sent her back to Bombay to have her tonsils operated on. And since then, Baba's sign for her was tonsils. He would put his hand on his throat to indicate the tonsils. She graduated from medical school in 1944, but returned to her parents' home in Ahmednagar. She was 28 at the time. Baba said she could join the women, and she went home to tell her parents, but she still felt she needed more experience. So she went for a short time to stay with them in 1944. And at that time, Baba had her as a watch person on the porch. So immediately she began being a go-between between the men and the women mandali, which continued till Baba's end. She felt, though, that she had no medical experience and didn't think she'd be of any benefit to Baba, and needed more experience. So Goher went back to Bombay, completed an internship, worked at an all-women's hospital. She was hesitant to take the job because she thought Baba would call her. But then what happened was they gave her a very important post and she couldn't leave. In 1946, she did leave and she went to Ahmednagar, set up her own practice, but felt she had missed her opportunity and waited until Baba finally called her in Satara in 1947 to join the women mandali. And she did so on June 19th, 1947. But she still continued with her outside employment, which Baba agreed to and wanted. And she worked, as she said in the film, in a missionary hospital. And once a week, she went to a leper colony some miles away. And as she said in the film, Norina and Elizabeth both came to India in 1947. Norina was quite ill and had a very serious health condition, and so she took care of Norina at that time. When she finally joined Baba in 1948 at Meherazad, she came as a physician. But initially, as she said in the film, Baba asked her to take care of the chickens and the ducks, and she explained about how she ran to ask for more bran. But they did hatch eggs. I remember reading this of Manila ducks, and Mara, I think, was the one who brought the little baby ducklings on a plate to show to Baba. She was very shy. And the women loved to put on skits to entertain Baba. And she really wanted not much to do with any of this. So everyone was to do something Christmas 1947, but Mani and Goher's skit stole the show. They were to dance. Goher kept insisting, I can't dance. I feel so shy. How can I dance in front of everyone? She gave a great performance and everyone laughed heartily, including Goher. On Baba's 51st birthday, the women mandali convinced Goher to dance for Baba. As Baba descended the stairs, the other women mandali held sticks, banged on pots and pans, and sang happy birthday. Then Goher, dressed as a dancing girl, began to dance. Do it again, Baba said, enjoying this novel birthday surprise. Afterwards, he warmly embraced her. During the new life, the women mandali convinced Goher to learn and then sing a song for Baba, which was very difficult for her to do, but which was enjoyed by all. And then in the film, she did talk about how fearful she was that she wouldn't go to on the new life, but Mara told her she was one of the 4 women. And she said that was, as she said in the film, that was the happiest moment of her life. When the caravan came in, Padre brought that for the women so that in the cold, in the areas in cold, they could sleep in the New Life caravan. She was the fourth person, and she was the one who slept on the floor. Meramani and Meru each were on the sides in the bed, but that's where she was. And she was there, of course, till the end when they returned to Meherazad and met the 4 remaining men there. Now, I'll pick up from where she pretty much left off in the film. In April of 1952, those 4 women again, Meramani, Meru, and Dr. Goher, accompanied Baba on his first trip to the Meher Center in South Carolina. This was the center's inaugural visit. The women stayed in the guest house, which has been built specifically for their visit there. After the center visit, they drove across America expecting to reach California, but their travels ended with a serious car accident on May 24th, 1952, while they were driving toward Prague, Oklahoma. Dr. Goher had been in the second car, not in the first car with Baba, and she was disappointed since she was riding behind them and not with them. She understood the reason when they came upon the scene of the accident. As a doctor, she was able to provide care for those injured in the first car. She consulted with Dr. Burleson, who ran the medical clinic where Baba, Mira, Elizabeth were cared for. She asked Burleson to call for an orthopedic surgeon for Baba and a neurosurgeon for Mira. They came from Oklahoma City to treat them. When they all returned to Elizabeth's family home, Yaupon Dunes, in Myrtle Beach, Goher remained with the injured to continue caring for them and assisting in their recovery. Later, when they went to New York, London, and Zurich, she continued to care for each and every one lovingly. After the second accident occurred in Uttara, India, near Satara, Baba returned to Grafton, which was the cottage where the women Mandali were staying, and of course Goher was there. She immediately began treating his wounds. She stayed by his side when he was brought to a small rural hospital, and she accompanied him back by his side when they returned. After the procedure where he had had his tongue stitched, Goher took him back to Grafton in an old ambulance with no shock absorbers, which rattled his body. Goher was very concerned about the hip injury that Baba sustained. In later years, Goher was the physician responsible for Baba's care. And when he moved downstairs in 1958, because the pain from the injuries made it too difficult for him to keep walking up and down the stairs, and he agreed to move, her bed was next to his room. She was awakened at night if he needed any medical care. Dr. Goher spent the hot Indian summers with Baba and the women Mandali at Guru Prasad in Pune. At Guru Prasad again, she slept outside the inner door of his bedroom. She was always able to assist with his medical care there. Her loving compassion for him and the Mandali members were palpable. Besides being his personal physician, she also managed bazaar accounts and attended to the small matters of running the household. In the days leading up to January 31st, Goher called several doctors to assist her in his care. Dr. Gindi, a neurosurgeon from Bombay, was the primary doctor she would call. On the morning of January 31st, 1969, Goher gave Baba injections to relieve his spasms, but it didn't help. At 12:15 p.m., Goher wanted to give an intravenous injection to revive Baba. Erich was at Baba's head. I was still busy preparing things when Erich called out, "Goher, come immediately." I had all the syringes. I wanted someone to do artificial respiration as I knew his breathing had stopped. Erich began giving Baba mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. At 12:40 p.m., Adi and Dr. Gindi arrived, followed by Dr. Duncan and Dr. Briesman. After examining Baba, Dr. Gindi said simply, "Finished. Nothing can be done now." He wrote out the death certificate, and Goher's name was the first. And also the gold for the lettering of his words, later engraved on his Samadhi, came from Dr. Goher, whose father had given the gold to her during her days in Quetta. When the men and women Mandali went to the Great Darshan in Pune, she had to resume her medical duties. She and Duncan cared for the Westerners. She knew Baba would want her to care for his lovers at Guru Prasad. But when they returned to Meherazad, there was little to do. She was saddened and disillusioned with the medical field. She gave away all her medical supplies and medicines to the Salvation Army Booth Hospital in Ahmednagar. The women Mandali, however, encouraged her to begin treating patients. They felt the villagers would come and learn about him. The men and women Mandali assisted her during this time. Initially, she was assisted by Mani and Erich, who helped with dressings and injections. Pendu handled the case papers. Up until his passing, Alaba supplied tea. Bao was involved in administration of what became the dispensary. Within 2 years, she became very busy. All were touched by the warmth of her soft and healing hands. In the early 70s, young Westerners began visiting, and she included them in helping to care for the villagers at the clinic. The villagers came from far distances. After several years, the clinic became so busy that Goher was concerned that villagers might have illnesses that could be transmitted to the Westerners visiting at Meherazad. Goher spoke with Arnavas, who funded the building of a larger clinic farther away from the veranda at Meherazad. This clinic opened in February 1978. Patients continued to come from long distances. She wanted this clinic to serve villagers with no access to health services. As thought was given to the future of Meherazad, a master plan was developed in 1999. This decision was made to move the clinic to a new location. The Meher Free Dispensary, situated near Meherazad, continues to this day to serve the local villagers by offering free medical care and free medications, which the free care dates back to Meherabad when Baba had a free clinic there, and he always wanted free medications and free care. On June 30th, 2004, Dr. Goher passed away from congestive heart failure. She was cremated on July 1st at 10 a.m., and her ashes were interred on Meherabad Hill. Her tomb shrine is to the right of Mani's tomb shrine, which is to the right of Baba's Samadhi. And here's something that Baba said about Goher and her sister Katie. They are jewels in my garden. Dr. Goher said about Baba, Baba's love poured out from his eyes. That was all that sustained them. Baba's eyes poured love. She said Baba repaid them 1,000,000 times with his love. And people who met her in her later years remembered the gentleness and the softness of her hands and heart, the love and generosity with which she greeted people and treated people, especially the needy patients, when the professional part of her was in play. Jai Bhushan.
Thank you, Karen. Oh, I was really happy.
Pleasure.
It was really interesting to hear the whole lineage of the Meher Free Clinic. I'm really, really happy to hear how all that evolved, really under Goher's, care.
Well,
And
it's it's thriving,
Yeah.
and anyone that goes to Meherazad should go for a short visit there and see it, and you can go to their website.
Mhm. Meher
Free
Fund, right? Meher Free Clinic or
So,
Meher Fund?
Meher Free Clinic.
Ah.
I'm going to check it out because I haven't been there in a while. But basically, at this time, even though you can't give donations to the trust, you can give donations to the clinic.
Mhm. Ah, well, that's good to know.
Mhm.
Now we will open the meeting to
Yeah, that's
anyone.
really good to know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and if you want information for the address, well, go to the website. It's Meher. I'm going to just check it out and make sure I give you the right one. And all donations are welcome. They've got a great, great board of directors. So, all right.
I'm wondering if anybody, I know one person does, Wendy, has some sharing. She worked with Goher. And just this is the portion of our program where we invite anyone with stories or our comments or anything about Dr. Goher. So Wendy, do you want to step in at this point? Where are you? I'm not
There I
seeing
go.
you. Okay.
I'm still trying to figure this computer out. Even the most basic. Well, Dr.
Maybe
Goher from my first trip had a huge impact on me. And she was very kind. I don't know what it was exactly. I think because we were both Leos in later conversation, we were both Leos who went, I'm not a Leo, I'm not a Leo. And yeah, it was one of our bonds. Anyway, our first trip was Silent Stay. And so it was an interesting time to come because it gave time for reflection as well. And yeah, I can't remember if it was the first or the second trip out to Meherazad. Monty um, took my arm and she said, I want you to go with Dr. Goher and a few other people. And I can't remember who all was there. And I went, okay. I was like a deer under headlights. It was so overwhelming for me. And so anyway, I got scooched into Mara and Monty's room. And on the bed were items of Mara's. And so I could choose anything. Yeah, I was the only one at that time in the room with them. And so I chose this beautiful pink scarf because when I first saw pictures of Mara, she had this pink scarf on. And so anyway, and I was like, I can have this? Yeah, like, wow. So anyway, and I also got to see in the cupboard all these lovely things that she had made with Boba's toenails and so on and so forth. And anyway, and I'm pretty sure Dr. Goher came in as well. And so anyway, then we're leaving and Monty came to the bus and she said, I'm so glad you chose what you did. And I was like, okay. And I just couldn't stop crying. I was just so overwhelmed for a first trip to have had that opportunity. So for whatever reason, Martin, as most of you know, well, some of you know, he's a naturopath chiropractor. So he would go out and he always brought remedies. Both of us did in years after. And so they said, come out with Martin. And so I did. And because I did body work, the next thing I knew, I was giving treatments to the Manda over the years. I don't think, I'm pretty sure I didn't do any of that trip. But over the years, I started to give, I think everybody's feet I did, except for Mani's and Erich's. And so, but Dr. Goher would kind of chat with me about certain things. But anyway, I always remember that I'd go on the porch and it was Dr. Goher's turn for her treatments. And she would lie on her bed and she would talk for a little bit. And then I would do her feet and I would do this other form of therapy with her. And she just loved it. She'd say, I just can relax and go to sleep. And there was a lady that was there, and I'm trying to remember her name now. She wanted me to teach her how to do it so she could do it for Katie as well. And anyway, I can't think of her name. Since this concussion, I'm really sorry. There's some names. Anyway, but I got to have those moments with Dr. Goher that were just so intimate. And one of our conversations was we were both Leos, and neither one of us felt like a Leo. Like I did not want to be front row center. I just wanted to kind of blend in and be wallpaper. And anyway, we would kind of have a wee chuckle about that. And yes, indeed, her hands were incredibly soft. And so were her feet. When I would do reflexology on her, her feet were, I'm not going to say equally, but they certainly were soft. And every
What?
trip, sorry,
What year did you go first time?
I'm pretty sure it was 98 or 99, or 89, sorry, 90, 91. Who does know is Ron, because he was there with his wife. So he can confirm that date for me and I'm okay with that.
I think it was summer of 92.
Okay, that sounds right. It was Silence Day. I remember.
Right.
Yeah.
Silence.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
It was after Mara passed.
Correct. Correct.
Didn't need money, and yeah.
Yeah. And so I was going to be, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. I was going to be turning 60, I think it was 50 or 60, I can't remember now. Anyway, and I'd always been sheltered all my life. It felt like I could never go anywhere without somebody watching over me. And so I said, I want to go to India. I want to go for a month by myself. And Martin, God love him, he said, of course, if you want to go, go. And I did. And so I spent a lot of time with the Mandalay in that month, and quite a bit of time with Dr. Goher. And anyway, the long and the short, at almost the end of it, Martin came, and we were out at Meherazad, and I was sitting on the bench that when you come down the stairs and you're walking out and there's a bench there. And I sat down on that, and I was so grateful, like so grateful for all the time that Dr. Goher had spent with me. We had very personal conversations. My early life wasn't very good. So anyway, and I was sitting there and I wasn't crying, which is unusual. But I was sitting there and just thanking Bob, like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And then all of a sudden, my heart was beating so fast, like, and the next thing I knew, Shelley was there and they were shipping me back to Meherabad. And so I ended up in the clinic there, like behind the medical clinic. There's a building there, which I can't think of the name of, and I'm sorry. If anybody can remember that and jump in, I have no problem with that right now. And so Dr. Goher was on it. Like that's where she wanted me to go. What bed I was supposed to go in, which I found out afterwards that Val used to stay there as well. He wasn't well. Anyway, so I stayed there for a good week. And I went for tests and so on and so forth. And there was nothing, major going on. So anyway, then I was able to come back to Meherazad for one last visit before I left, and nobody else was there. And oh my goodness, Dr. Goher was just like, she sat with me on the porch and she stroked my hand and she said, "You're going to be fine. And this is how I want you to go back to Canada." She was so focused, like it just permeated me. I wish I had the words to explain it. And anyway, I was very concerned that I'd never get back because I didn't know what health issues were going to be found out when I got home. And anyway, Meru, she gave me a lovely gift as well. And Katie said not to worry, everything would be fine, because I was, worried that I wouldn't see her either. I loved Katie. And anyway, I said goodbye, not knowing if that would be the last time I would ever see them. So I was pretty emotional, to say the least. Anyway, but I remember, Dr. Goher taking my hand and, reassuring me that Baba would take care of me, everything would be well. And I was like, yeah. And it was fine. And I came back and had all the tests done and so on and so forth. But anyway, over the years, I got some letters from her. So I thought, if you want, I can read one in particular. I lived in foster homes when I was younger, and from the time that I left, I got this letter that my one biological sister at that point had found me. And I was like, whoa, I knew nothing about these other siblings. It was a bit much. So Dr. Goher had said if ever I needed her to just write to her, And that was the first time I really reached out because I wasn't doing well with that. I was like, whoa. And it wasn't that my parents had hidden it, they just didn't know about it either. So anyway, so this was the letter that she wrote me. Dearest Wendy, J. Mayor Baba, I was deeply touched by your letter of February, and which expressed very beautifully the turmoil and pain you feel about your mother and the confusion on discovering you have two sisters. Your struggle to be free of this pain so that you may one day face your mother with acceptance is very courageous. This is a world that now inflicts so much cruelty and pain on its children, from their surviving wars to familial abuse and abandonment. These little souls go through so much suffering. Baba is speeding up our lives so much that he even gives his darling children drops of his suffering too. Dear Wendy, beloved Baba is your real father and mother, and we, his Mandali, are your family. Baba will never abandon you, dear, and your family here will always welcome you with open arms. In his dear love, and of course, you have a wonderful husband who loves you dearly and will always support you in every way. We send our heartfelt J Baba to you and Martin, darling Maggie, which is my daughter. She came on that trip with us, and are so happy to be able to count you among our family members. In Baba's warm embrace and much love, Goher. And she signed it. So it was typed out, but she wrote that and signed the bottom. Yeah.
When you did go back every year, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Once I got the green light, it was like, I'm out of here. And I would work hard in my practice, and then I would take a month off so I could go. And sometimes twice a year, I would go back. So, yeah.
For you to work, right? As
Yeah, I would go there and work. And then when Dr. Goher was dying, Shelley called it. Am I taking up too much time?
No, it's wonderful. No.
So Shelley called us and said, you might want to get over here. I don't think Dr. Goher is going to be around much longer. So, I mean, I was on it so fast. They said, Martin, you were going, that's it. And so I went and got our passports updated, blah, 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 blah. And we were in the air in less than a week. Like, I don't know how many days, but it wasn't long, that's for sure. And anyway, we got there and we spent, I think when we first got there, we chilled, and then we went out the next day to Meherazad, and Martin was on her feet, I was on her head, and then we would switch. And we did what we did in our profession. And she was a little coherent at first, but as time went on through the day, it got less and less. But so grateful to have had that time with her at the end. I was doing hospice work at that time, but this was beyond, so beyond that. So we were there when she did pass, and then we went back home, back to the Pilgrim Center, got cleaned up and so on, and then they took care of Dr. Goher and prepared her, and then we went back out to Meherazad and sat. We didn't sit the whole night there. We sat for a while, and people were coming in and going. And then we went back, and then Dolly and Joel came and got us very early in the morning. The guys had to unlock us out, which that was interesting, but anyway. And so we got into the vehicle, and we went there and sat with Dr. Goher and other Mandali members for a while. And then we left, and they brought Dr. Goher to Meherabad up the hill, and took her into Baba's Samadhi. And then did prayers, and then we went. The ambulance that they used was there, and they carried her to that, placed her in, and I was standing beside Katie, and this rose literally flew out of the back of the van. Like, if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. And I picked it up off the ground. Like, it was not even a second, it was on the ground. And I turned to Katie and I said, "Do you like this?" And I remember her saying to me, "My dear, this was for you." So I have this lovely little box. And this is the rose. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it, yeah.
Can you tilt it down a little bit toward us? Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Wendy. That's wow. Wow. Mm.
Share that. And so then we followed the vehicle down and we went to where they do the cremations. I don't know if any of you, I'm quite sure quite a few of you have probably seen that area. And so we placed roses at Martin was there as well, and we placed flowers around, and the mandali were there, and then they lit the fire, and we stayed most of the night, and people sang and told stories, and it was like something it was amazing. It was just so beautiful, so incredibly beautiful, and stories that I hope I've got written down. So then, I don't know, early morning, we went back to our rooms, got cleaned up, and I can't remember if we went back up to the hill for Artie. I'm sorry, without my notes for that, I can't remember. And then Joel came over. Yes, we were up in the hill for Artie. And then Joel came over and he said, "Can you come with us?" And so we went with him. And out of the ashes, Dr. Goher had prosthesis for her shoulders. And no, if any of you knew that or not. And so we were there for that, and yeah, so they gathered up all the ashes for the crypt, and yeah, it was almost like a dream. I hope I'm explaining it okay, because it's so hard to explain it. It was so amazing. It was so amazing. But anyway, I don't know if any of you remembered Dr. Goher and this hat or not, but I was gifted this hat, and I don't wear it very often, but sometimes when I'm really down in the dumps, I'll go get it and put it on my head. And it cheers me up every time. And I was also given these items, and some of you may remember seeing these on her, but this was one of her outfits that she wore. This was a jacket, and I don't know, it's a dress. I don't know if any of you would remember. I keep hoping one day I'm going to see it on a video. And anyway, and I'm a big Canadian, so I'm never going to be able to wear it. As I said to Shelley, nope, that's not likely going to happen. But it still smells just like her, like it's never gone away. It's so beautiful. Anyway, and then the scarf. little scarf that, and I don't know who made it for her, but again, it's very comforting sometimes. Oh, sorry. Just to be with it. Yeah. Because I felt like for me, Dr. Goher gave me the courage to get on with my life, to really experience, to open my heart and not be afraid to love. I really felt that was part of her gift for me, that all that had happened before, I just needed to let it go, just let it go. And I'm just so grateful. So grateful. I just wish I could put it into words. The time that I had with her and personal moments that I can't bring myself to share. I'm just not brave enough at this point. And yeah, she helped. Baba worked through her to help me to get where I am today, and there's just no words to the gratitude. Like, yeah, I am Baba's slave, absolutely. Like, whatever you want, I'm good. And I don't know if I showed this or not, but this picture here, Dr. Goher gave me when I was in the clinic or in the little room off the clinic in Meherabad. So that it was from Dr. Goher. And I don't know if there's anything, I think, and last but not least, this was Christmas, Happy Millennium, Merry Christmas from Dr. Goher. And she signed it with Shelley. Yeah. So I hope I did it her justice. Yeah. She changed my life for sure.
You were fellow medical profession. You and Martin both were
Yeah.
her colleagues, kind of.
Yeah. And I wanted to be a doctor. I did. But Baba did not want that. I am totally convinced of that now. This was the route that he wanted me to take. And I really enjoyed the profession I went into. And I think that's what opened the door for me to be able to go to Meherazad and give treatments to all, like there was like Bauji, Balnatu, like all of them. Erich was the only one that I didn't give any treatment to. And he was so sweet because I was leaving Meherazad one day and he was tired and he was limping. And I said, I can give you a treatment if you want. I can do your feet. And he abruptly said, no, nobody's to touch my feet. And it was like, okay. And it didn't hurt my feelings in the least. Not in the least, which is unusual because I'm very sensitive. And then he came rushing over to me and he gave me a beautiful hug and said, Baba said no one was to touch my feet.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I said, okay. Like I was okay with that. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, if you got any questions, I'll try my best to bring them forward. If you don't, thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. This was very hard for me to do, so thank you.
Have you seen the rose, Wendy?
I'm
I
so,
just,
You didn't see the rose, Ralph? You want to see the rose?
correct, yeah,
you want to see the
correct,
rose?
yes, thanks.
Turn it, tilt it down. So there it is. There it is. There's you go, Ralph. Yeah.
It's like a rose. Thank you.
And you can still, believe it or not, there's still a,
Mhm.
you can tell it's a rose. Amazing.
Oh man, I had no idea, Wendy, that you you had such all this to share. I knew you had spent time with her, but wow. Wow, this was just wonderful. Thank you
Thank
so
you for the opportunity. Thank you.
much. I just called her last night. When do you come? Oh. Ron.
Yeah, I just have a couple of things. Not any stories really. Didn't have any of that intimate contact uh, with Goher, except I will say those hands were soft. That was it was amazing how that one quality could be so impressive. That everybody talks about it and all. Anyhow, well, if you had the opportunity to have her hold you by the hand. So the two things I have, one photo, so that should be worth. Could I share the screen?
Sure. Let me make you co-host. Okay.
This is from '73.
Okay. Yeah, you should. Oh,
Awesome.
is that you, Ron?
Yep.
Oh, goodness, you look like a teenager.
Right.
Beautiful.
Oh, was this your wife at the time?
Yes.
Wow.
Bobby. Yeah. Yeah. We went. She had gone the year before in '72, and then we got married, and then we went again.
Wow.
That so. All right. So I don't want to share
Yeah,
that anymore. Uh,
yeah, seen that picture. And your wife.
and then let's see. So I want to show you th- my wife, my current wife, Lisa. She had a connection with Goher in that she was making buttons, or not really buttons, because they were all different kinds of shapes, but they were something. Oh, pins. That's what it is. It's a pin that has a, you could pin it on your clothing, and she was making these. It was a collage effect. So she would make these, and Goher particularly loved them. She was collecting them, and and then she would give them to other people. And so I have one here that is on my altar, but it's a little faded. But let's see if it shows up on the screen.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
You
Yeah.
see how
Uh-huh.
she did it? Yeah,
Wow.
so she did that for a couple of years, and like I say, Goher particularly he had a fascination with these. She enjoyed them.
So this is a collage, Baba's photo on a
Yeah,
picture. Did
right.
did she paint the flowers?
No, it's all just from cutouts of magazines and things.
Wow. Oh, neat.
So that's what I had to contribute.
Thanks, Ron. Anybody else? Um, I have, when we went in 87, uh, in the summer, um, the whole family went, uh, and I had gone in a March by myself for the first time in 87, February, March, and was so blown away when I came home. I said to the family, we all have to go, all of us have to go. And right about then, um, my husband, well, it was sometime he for a period of time, like 2 or 3 years, he had a neck injury and he was unable to work, uh and he was just terrified of surgery. That was not the way he was going to get better. He got better with chiropractic, and it took a long time, but it just wasn't that was how he had to do it. This is my husband Dave. So, and that was the only reason we had money to go, was that he got a settlement. It happened at work, and he got a settlement for this injury, a neck injury. So, so when we all went as a family, and Dave was kind of a Baba like, or kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. He wasn't entirely comfortable going to India, but because we were all going, he was going. And he was in a neck brace, a soft neck brace, the whole time he was there. And when Goher saw that neck brace, she just zeroed right in on him. She gave him such special attention and love. She even gave us a little bottle of water that Baba's feet had been washed in. Um, which I passed on to another uh, uh well, Michaela Frigon. I don't know how many of you know her. At the time she was a little girl and had lost all her hair, and she was a good friend of ours, and so that's where the rest of that water went, was to her. But anyway, Goer was so attentive and sweet. She gave him such love. Um, and he really needed it because he wasn't real comfortable there with all the Baba lovers. And it was, she was, that's my memory of her with us, was her, how attentive she was to Dave with his injury. Mm. So, anybody else? It's been a wonderful time. Wow, I had no idea, Wendy, you had so much to share. Oh, and wow. And Karen's great bio. It's good. Yeah. Yeah. This whole collection of bios, Karen, is going to be so precious.
For sure. For
Mhm.
sure. Yeah, it's rather motivating me to get this big unit out and start sorting through all of these trips, because
Mm.
I'm 76 this year. I'm not going to be here forever, really. Like, yeah.
Did I shouldn't the pink scarf, is it close by enough that you could show us? Or
Oh
is
yeah, for sure.
it,
For sure.
this is Mara's scarf, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility. All of this, you call it, these treasures that we have. Yeah, I'm, I'm not the best at keeping an eye. I've got things just kind of as they were when I put them in a box. How many years ago? Gosh, 40, 50. Um, Thanks you guys for coming. We didn't advertise this much. I'm glad that you're here.
Sorry. It's in a glass box and it's just heavy to bring. But anyway, this
Getting it out.
cart sits with it, the scarf. And I have no idea who gave me this card, but it's so lovely because I put it on her scarf and it just matches beautifully.
Wow. And so that was what you chose when you went into
Yeah.
Mary's room. Wow. Oh, and Monty's told you she was really glad you'd chosen this card.
I know. I was such a nervous wreck. It's like I didn't want to do anything wrong because I knew how much Martin loved them all. And then I was like, oh, I don't want to be, here I am, his wife. There you go. And she said, Moni, she said, make sure, and Dr. Goher said the same thing. You make sure you put this on every so often.
Oh, wow.
Make sure you put this on.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Well,
So
there
that's why
you
I'm
are.
doing it. It's like, I don't think I've done it. I should do this. Oh dear. And then in it, I totally forgot I put this here. And this is a piece, remember they did the Samadhi a few years back? The dome part?
Mhm.
And this is a little piece off of it. They gave me a piece off the Samadhi.
Uh-huh. Do you know what, like some of the painting maybe,
Yeah,
or?
yeah, it's the paint.
Uh-huh.
But it's the outside off the dome. Right.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
not the inside. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, yeah.
You know, I have a handkerchief that Baba used. Somebody
wow.
gave me,
Wow.
and I want to assure everybody that I'm not using
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Even every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah,
It's different. I know. I was just making a joke.
it's funny because it just seems every so often
Hmm.
something draws it and it's got to come out from under the glass. And clearly today was one of those days. There's a lot going on up here. So yeah. So thanks for asking.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, this was such a gift. Such a gift.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I caught Rosalie's story. She's not here anymore. She was, but I did catch it on the recording. She said that uh, that Goher hated to she needed a shot. Rosalie needed a shot for something. And she said she didn't even feel it, the needle going in.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Goher hated to give Baba any kind of pain, anybody any kind of pain, but she was real sensitive to, yeah. So I'm glad she.
Yeah. Yeah. She, even though she wasn't practicing when I wasn't well and I was in the clinic there, I mean, she was on it all the time. Like she was checking in, making sure this was done, that was done. And did you remember to do this? And she said, now, Martin, you can't take her all the way back home. You have to first, you can leave, but then you have to stay overnight in Pune. And then the next day go to Mumbai to catch your flight. She said it's too much for her. Just get like she had all in a nice way. Like they were all lovely. Yeah. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I remember when I came from Meherazad from Meherazad to Meherabad, Alan was there, and a couple other people, and they had a what do you call it? A thing that you carry people on. Oh my goodness.
Stretcher, maybe? Or
Yes, thank you. That's it, a stretcher. And to the day I die, I will never forget Alan the cook's, the look on his face. Like he was so shocked and so concerned. And it was just, yeah, you know how sometimes some things happen and it just, whoa, the concern was huge.
when they brought you back from Meherazad.
Yeah, yeah. He was one of the men that helped carry the stretcher because Dr. Goher didn't want me walking at all.
Wow.
And they couldn't get a car. There was some reason they didn't come back in a car. Or maybe. No, I did come back in the car. That's right. We had gone out in a rickshaw. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you've been on the giving end and the receiving end.
Yeah. 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 It was yeah. And Meru, the day that we left, is this okay? Like, can
Yes,
I? Okay.
yeah.
So she said, do you want to go into Baba's room one more time? And I said, or Mara's room, sorry. And I said, Oh, yeah, for sure, in Baba's room. And so, anyway, when I was standing in Mara and Mani's room, yeah, Mara and Mani's room, I was trying to take in, all the pictures, all the thises and the that's, and what the floor looked like, every detail, so that I would never forget in case I never got to come back again. And I'm standing there, and I didn't know that Nehru was behind me. And, I certainly wasn't saying it very loud, but I said, please let me come back. Please let me come back. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she I think she put her hand on my shoulder or something. Anyway, it broke the spell. And she said, don't worry, if Baba wants you back, you'll be back. He'll be fine. And she gave me a couple of things, and one was this sort of is like a necklace, but it's made with seeds, and it had been where Baba's eating place was, in the kitchen or the dining hall where we would have our meal. Yeah, yeah. So that was pretty. They still have it, still doing okay. Yeah.
You have to write these little stories along with every
Yeah,
item.
yeah. Yeah. Some people know from the Toronto Baba group because they've heard the stories, but yeah, I've kind of set it up that Perrin, I don't know if you know Perrin is, but her daughter, Mara, if none of my children have come forward, she's going to be the one that will take all of these things, because I don't want them to just go to the wind.
Yes, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's forethought. Yeah.
I mean, I know my kids would do whatever they could for sure, but to me, I needed it locked solid that that's where these things have to go. Can't just go anywhere. Yeah. Too many memories for sure. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Special and Karen and all.
Thank you. It's
I think
beautiful.
yeah, maybe we'll wrap this up if nobody has any more to say. We'll do
And
it.
thank you, Karen, for your stuff too. That was your reading. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. Amazing.
It'll be a wonderful compilation if it makes a book,
Yeah.
whatever form it is. It's going to be so valuable.
Yeah.
That resource. Yeah. Yeah.
Love to you all.
Right. Avatar Mir Baba 3 times. Jackie,
Yes. Sounds great.
Our Meherabad
Ki Jai.
Avatar
Meherabad Ki Jai.
Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Thank you. Thank you, dear Baba, for all of these wonderful times you give us. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you all. I love you all. You have no idea how you've saved my life, all of you. Ah, yes. Thank you.
Okay, then. All right. We'll be off.
All
Okay.
right. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Okie dokie. Jai Baba.